Easily, one of the things going on is this, which is the problem is that it's not just that you have spies. It's the fact that you have people who are willing to facilitate the criminal enterprise of the criminal cartel pedos. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And essentially, that's what that is. So you have a lot of people. I mean, that's why we're closing. Here's the thing. We already knew this was coming in the upper levels of government, where they're well aware of the fact, hey, we're going to have to bust a lot of people. You know what I mean? So if we have to close down our consulates, let's fix the situation. Meanwhile, you have China down in Texas pretending to burn mail. Let's keep that in mind. So with the way things are going, we're going to be probably closing down all of our consulates, but we're probably going to close down I think here's your signal. Here's your signal of what's going on. If we close down all of our consulates in China within the next 6 months, right? Then what you're observing is that America has completely exfiltrated its financial interest from China. Because what we're recognizing is that Richard Nixon made a mistake. Kissinger influenced him to make that mistake of trying to open the world global market to China, because you have to understand, when you have a government that's willing to subject its people to all manner of human rights violations, they're going to economically be able to outmoxie you when they don't have to pay for that overhead of human safety in regards to human life and dignity. So we're coming to a point now where we're having to deal with the fact that a large, I don't know, maybe 60 to 80% of the goods and services that we're receiving from China, not a lot of the high-tech end stuff, but 60 to 70% of the things that we were purchasing, maybe even 80, is all slave labor. It's all slave labor. So when you look at Xinjiang as a province where the Uyghur community was, what you have is a giant, it's like if an entire state was turned into a cross between a prison and a sweatshop and a concentration camp.
I want to talk about.
And when you look at
talk about that a little.
And when you look at the.
What is?
Yeah, sure. And when you look,
I want to talk about.
I'm sorry.
Slavery.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about the slavery, the slave labor that's going on there, and the conditions that the Chinese people are living under currently right now, the civilians.
I mean, again, what I said is that they have used nanotechnology in the sense of small biologically engineered synthetic life forms to neurochemically lobotomize their entire population. Chinese people kind of will look at you like, nah, that didn't happen. And like, yeah, it did happen. Which is why you have the behavior, but you also have people who are not in the social main. So, neurologically, they've been able to, through their diet and their particular lifestyle and their distancing from the rest of the group, they've been able to work their way away from that. But the vast majority of people with money in the large cities have not. So they're going to parroted. But this whole incident has demonstrated, let me put it this way, the fastest way to get rid of a virus of a particular type or, just a pathogen is through some form of, social traumatic shock. Hold on one second. So in regards to the Chinese people, they don't know that they're being subjected to different forms of scalar wave, technology that, basically allows certain types of bacteria to basically, neurologically adjust their opinion.
So they've also,
and people will say, well, isn't that happening
as well, right?
I'm sorry, what's that?
All the population has been mass vaccinated already, right?
Yeah, totally. That's what I was saying. But getting back to the heart of how that plays out, we have a situation where, as a people, let me put it this way. Let's say you have a plate. And in the center of the plate is the criminal cartel of pedos, right? And at the center of that, we'll say criminal cartel of pigs. Criminal cartel of pigs. We'll say it there. So we have, not to diminish what they are, but let's just put it this way. So in this situation, in the middle of that plate is those people. As you move further away from the plate, you get away from the bureaucracy, away from the machinery, away from the elite, the bourgeoisie, the middle class, and then you get to the real Chinese people. And when you get to the average Chinese person, what's
sticking with me, stay with me.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh. Okay, so once you get away from the center of that, you get to the real Chinese people. But the reality is the distance from, I'd say we want to say the radius, we'll say the radius. So the radius center is based, the expression. But I'm sorry, not excuse expression, but it's only about 80, it's 90% of the way, maybe even 95. So that means 95% of the people inhabiting that plate out from the center are actually the people that are being tortured by this government.
Now, I want to talk a little bit.
So you have maybe 5 to 10% of the population,
when you say torture,
maybe 7 at best, trying to control the remaining, 90 to 95 or 93%. And each day that passes, even out from the center, you have people who are, neurochemically lobotomized. And even those people that are neurochemically lobotomized are still people who are trying to support this idea that, the party is right. But with each passing day, the party has to do something malicious and evil in order to maintain control of the plate. So let me put it this way.
So
when you small percentage of,
when you mention torture, mention torture, what and maliciousness, what do you mean? What type of things are occurring?
Well, there's about 2 to 5 million people that are kind of homeless right now because of the deliberate flooding and deliberate exploding, the deliberate demolition, pyrotechnic demolition of different dams along the Yangtze River in order to just protect the larger cities. So in the process of doing that, they still haven't really apologized for drowning about 50,000 people, give or take 5,000. They didn't even bother telling them, hey, we're opening the dam to relieve the stress and pressure. We're doing it because we want to preserve the stability of the dam, which is a foregone conclusion, didn't work. But they essentially drowned all those people because they did it at night so that they wouldn't have to let the media see them doing it. So they basically, all right, open the dam. Process of opening the dam.
I saw some footage of that. What kind of conditions are the people that are living in these slave labor?
This is what I'm telling everyone, that the Nazis compared to these people. So I say that because some people, really bad wiring standards in certain parts of China, got electrocuted. So
Okay, I lost the connection, guys. Stand by.
FEMA times 10. Or I'm sorry, you saw Hurricane Katrina times 10.
Oh my God.
And we're seeing these images, but this is the really sick part. The really sick part about all this is that they're running around on state media and internet media saying, isn't it glorious that they sacrificed themselves so that we would be able to protect the larger cities? We honor them by doing that. And I'm just like, wow, you people are sick. You're sick in a way that me calling you sick is a disservice.
All right. The connection is going in and out, guys. I apologize.
Expletive, deleted, pejorative slang words to describe how vulgar and demonic and disgusting these people are. And I don't really want to say, oh, demonic, but yeah, that's what it is. Totally. Yep. 100%. I mean, there's elements of a kind of darkness I don't want to go into in this talk, but there's elements of a type of darkness that's so screwy you can pinpoint it. Meanwhile, but what do you expect when you're like the kind of people who regularly eat petrified and and gelled baby parts or gelled fetus? Like I'm serious. These people are cannibals. They eat baby fetus. If you're looking at me like I'm crazy, they have an international trade between them and.
China is the number one country for organ harvesting, and we are number one for human trafficking. I know that. Okay,
we'll call it that as a supplement. As a supplement. Which reminds me, if you got stock in listen, do your homework, everybody. Do your homework tonight. Go look up how many companies have Chinese investors, and you're going to be like, you're being racist again. I'm like, no, I'm trying to tell you, it is impossible to become a millionaire at a particular level in China without any Communist Party member, while simultaneously working for the Chinese government, while simultaneously working for the Chinese military. They turn their entire commerce sector into a arm of the Chinese military. And if you haven't been able to figure that out yet, you know what I mean? There's like a ton of companies that, listen, the major, and I keep hearing this on a particular channel, NAA Worldwide, really good people, but they've been making a particular statement that's not wrong, but not properly expounded on. Meaning they're telling you one thing, that's true, but you need to give people some detail or understand what it is that's going on. Better arrested right now that they're not talking about are people who were basically front men for Chinese companies to help them steal money from the PPP and the EILD grants and loans. So they stole tens of billions of dollars already from America again, but they had these characters on the ground in America acting as their frontmen. So those are a lot of the people that the FBI are issuing warrants to, and they're Chinese parts who didn't get out of the country fast enough. So you have to understand that, like, they as in the Chinese Communist Party, right? The criminal cabal of pigs. They're so dark. They're so dark that gaslighting is not a form of deception. It is a normal happenstance with dealing with them. It will happen at some dealing with the criminal cabal of pigs. You will run into a situation where they're going to gaslight you. And currently, whether you're for the Trump administration or not, I don't really care. If you're not intelligent enough to see the value in that in that particular incarnation of the U.S. presidency, and I think you're worried about whether or not your black friends are going to like you because you voted for them. That's what I really think. I think you have a kind of white guilt that is detrimental to your children's future. Now,
I want
how did you say that? And I'm like,
I want to ask
the reality of the matter is that the man saved the country from voting.
We have a lot of corporations here in
really
America.
Did. And as an African American person, I can tell you,
we have a lot of corporations here in America that are reliant on Chinese slave labor.
Was planning for the African American community something the media is going to hide this from you, especially after the